Hey, stars, it's me, Shard Star, and I'm back. I hope you guys had a great, safe Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend. Um, as you see in my background, right? You see views from New Jersey to New York, is what it is. That's Jersey City. I actually visited one of my friends' penthouse over the weekend. Thank you, Nicole, for having us over. We had a great time, had always. And these are pictures from um her penthouse in Jersey City, right off the water. So I mean, I just said, you know what? Normally I'm showing backgrounds of my home and stuff like that. And now that the weather's changing and the summer is pretty much here, beautiful skies, beautiful views. I just took some pictures, and because I have a green screen, I can use those as my background. So again, thank you, Nicole, for the great time over on Saturday. And again, thank you. Right now, I'm drinking a little razzle dazzle. No, I'm joking. A little lemon ginger tea, of course. And I have my Saratoga still water. And that's it. I hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. Like I said, we stayed very local. We didn't go past Jersey City. We didn't leave New Jersey. It was a really good weekend, quiet weekend. We did think something on Saturday, like I said, and then we did something else. Went out to dinner with some family on Sunday, and Monday we just stayed in. Really for the holiday, we just stayed in. It's not a big deal. Um, well, I want to start off this first story, right? I had heard about it on I heard about it on last week. And it was so the story, you had to take your time to get into it, right? Because it was like how it just reminds you of how things happen. And then I'm going to tell you what I think about I don't know if you've heard about um the couple, the engaged parents. It says engaged parents die hours apart in separate crashes, leaving behind a 4-year-old son, right? So this is the engaged couple. And again, they have a 4-year-old son, and they passed away hours apart on the same road in two separate accidents. So my thing is, how often does something like that happen, right? It says an engaged couple, Alexis Lee and John Jr. Collins, tragically passed away in two separate car accidents occurring just hours apart on the same stretch of Plank Road in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They leave behind a 4-year-old son, Gabriel. So, okay, so the wife, from what I understand, the wife, right? Let me click this out. The wife was driving on a road, on this particular road at some point, and somehow lost control of her SUV and crashed, and was was found unalive at the scene, right? So then the police, of course, do their little investigation at the same time, and they contact the family, where they contact the fiance to tell him that his fiance, future wife, was in a car accident, and that, she had passed away. He jumps in his car, rushing to the scene, and the same fate meets him. He loses control of his car and crashes and is found unalive. Now, I know some people say that's really, really weird, right? And it is, but in another way, is it like they were meant to be together? This is just me speaking from what it seems like to me. Were they meant to be together in whatever form that would be? Because how often or whenever will you ever have two people that are on their way to get married? I mean, engaged to be married. They already share a 4-year-old son, and one has a car accident and passes away. One rushing to that car accident on the same road meet the same fate. I don't know what to think of it. It's different. It's different. Would you call it true love? Um, would you see it like I'm just thinking on another end, they were meant to be together. And however that was, if it was in life or death, you know? I don't know. We have to send prayers to Gabriel. I mean, he lost both of his parents. I did see an interview where they were talking about the grandparents, the grandmother, the mother of the son. I'm thinking, um, said that they're just going to raise him to the best of their ability. The fact that he's 4, they got him to understand at this point that they're not coming home. Now, I don't know how they told that, but they said, the grandparents said they have him understanding that they're not coming home. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if he won't see him again, because of course there will be a service or whatever. So I don't know. But again, my prayers go up to that family, because that's a lot to have to deal with, right? Okay, so my next story, I came across this and I thought it was different. It's worth talking about, because I mean, these employees, the school employees, are losing their mind. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, it says NYC DOE employee accused of strangling child in school. Okay. So let me get into the story and I'll tell you what this is about. This happened in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. A school aide is under arrest on suspicion of strangling a child on school grounds, says 11 News. The 47-year-old Department of Education employee was arrested in Brooklyn on Thursday, just before 6 p.m. Officials tell the news channel 11 News the incident happened at PS 169 in Brooklyn, where a 9-year-old child said he was playing with another student in the lunchroom. And the school aide told the child to stop playing, but when he continued to play with the other child, the employee walked up behind the 9-year-old, put her arm around the child's neck, and applied pressure. The student said he had difficulty breathing and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, according to the police. Officials say that the DOE worker now faces a slew of charges, including assault, strangulation, endangering the welfare of a minor, of course. Yeah. And some of her charges is going to be menacing and harassment. So I don't know. You have to be careful dealing with these minors and how you deal with them. This is not back in the 80s and the 90s where they would actually put hands on you in school. And the internet wasn't what it was today. We would never hear. It happens all the time. They would put hands on you, you know? I don't know what to say about it, but I just feel that sometimes, these kids, you have to understand too, some of these people are not evenly yoked with their jobs. And I'm not, and listen to me out. A school aide, as far as security and dealing with students, where you have hand-on-hand contact with students, you're there, you're visible, you're not a principal or someone stuck in the office in the back room. You're there physically, you're there. You have to handle whatever is happening at the moment, right? But some of these people, workers, have anger issues. Some of them don't even have children, meaning they may not even know how to really deal with children. Everything is force. Do what I say. That's not how you can come at this generation. And different from when we were brought up. We had hands laid on us. They're not really laying hands on the kids in the past 20, 30 years. It's different. You get a timeout, you get something taken away. You don't get hands put. We had hands put on us, and then we had a punishment behind having hands put on us, and we might have hands put on us by more than one parent. So it all depends on how your house went. You know what I mean? Okay, baby. So how the employees are dealing with the children and how I don't know. There need to be some classes, because like I said, some of these people don't even have children. So they're not dealing with, you're dealing with your kids on a daily basis. But other than that, that's it. Okay, so you guys remember that, and I brought this up, and I guess this may be the last, it may not be the last. You let me know about the two twin boys in Georgia that had graduated, right, from that had graduated from high school. And the story was told how they had plans to, I think, go, don't, allegedly they were going, they had plane tickets right after graduation to go to the airport the next day and kind of go to, I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember, where were they going? Boston. I believe it was Boston, allegedly. But nevertheless, they supposedly had tickets for Boston to go hang out with friends or do whatever. And that's what happened. They never reached the airport. And then they were found a few days, allegedly, not allegedly, they were found a few days later, um, at this place called Bell Mountain. It's a mountain and it's a wilderness, and people go hiking there and stuff like that. But then also, as I reported a week and a half ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, that it had came up that there's a sundown town not far from this location, location called Bell Mountain, where the twins' remains were found, right? Okay, so, they did tests, and then they said that they needed to do more tests. So GBI reveals new findings, manner of unalive after twins found unalive on Bell Mountain, right? Remember, I can't use certain words on YouTube. So yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. So apparently, well, we've already gone through the thing. They were supposed to go to the airport. They never reached. Their bodies were found unalive, of course, bodies at this Bell Mountain. The family stated that they weren't even familiar, that these kids even knew about this place or had ever visited, because they don't have any connection to this place, right? And then it came out allegedly that there was a so-called sundown town not far from this location. So then that brought another little thing into it. But guess what? After that report, and after I reported, I never heard anything else about this particular alleged sundown town, where when you're like this, we're not allowed to be there when the sun goes down. It's not a place you want to be. It's not welcoming for us. Okay. So moving right along. So now the GBI they're ending their case. They're closing the case that it was a suicide on both hands. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it is, but I'm going to tell you what they're saying. And the family still does not agree. They don't understand, because one of the sisters said she had just spoke to them right before they were supposed to be leaving. And they were excited about the trip, right? So listen to this. Just listen to the facts, because come to find out, only one brother had a plane ticket. So both of them did not have a plane ticket. Only one brother went to the airport, but never got on the plane. So the story is really, 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 it says that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation released new findings and the mystery surrounding the unaliving of the two 19-year-old twin brothers from Lawrenceville. Their bodies were found with pow wounds on top of a remote North Georgia mountain in early March. Okay, the GBI initially said that the preliminary investigations indicated that Quadar Malik Lewis and Nazar Raheem Lewis passed away in a unalive suicide. But based on the medical examiner's autopsy and the other investigating findings, the GBI has now said both teens passed away by suicide. So I don't know. I don't know, because why? And why there? And then at one point, the sister said that they had seen two plane tickets for the brothers, two different plane tickets. They've seen it. But then the FBI is stating that only one brother had a ticket, and only one brother went to the airport on the day that they were supposed to leave, but then did not board the plane. Okay, so they said the Lewis brothers were found unalive by pow on the morning of March 8th. Hikers made the discovery at the summit of Bell Mountain in Towns Country near the North Carolina border, right? The discovery came as a shock to their family, who had believed the twins were in Boston visiting friends at the time. Family initially said the brothers had booked a flight to Boston for 7 a.m. on March 7th, but the two never made their flights. Just 24 hours later, their remains were found in the area, and the family said that they had never visited before. Well, you don't really know that. Um, he may never have mentioned to you. But again, these are 19-year-olds. I'm sure they drive. People end up and go anywhere. I've been a lot of places my parents and grandparents didn't know I had been, but I've been there. Okay. Shut up. They're just saying that it's just so many inconsistencies. This mountain is like 90 miles away from Lawrenceville, where they resided in Gwinnett County. And they're closing the case. They're closing the case and saying that they were both at the hands of themselves. And I know the family has to have so many more questions that's unanswered. I mean, wow. And they're closing. So I just wanted you guys to understand that they did more tests and found that they found gunpowder on both of their fingers where they apparently, but we've seen TV, we've seen movies. It has to make sense to a point, and this doesn't make any sense at any point. So I don't know. I don't know. Really, really don't know. I need some water behind that one. It's because wow. Okay. Well, okay, so we're going to move on. Cruise, because this particular cruise we're talking about is a 19-day cruise. I've never been on a cruise that long, because after 5, I was ready to go anyway. Okay, so we're going to talk about this. So as cruise season approaches us here in New Jersey and New York and all of that, passengers aboard a 19-day cruise were informed the captain passed away while on this 19-day cruise while sailing. The captain, Michael Bartolome, passed away suddenly while on board the ship traveling around Asia. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this. This is the captain. I mean, how would you feel to end up on a cruise ship? And did they announce? That's the craziest thing. They announced over the loudspeakers, like hallways, rooms, staterooms, everything, where that the captain passed away. Well, of course, there's more than one person. That's one person doesn't control a whole ship. Okay, it's not a paddle boat. This is a ship. So, of course, there's other people qualified there to take over and whatever. And from what I understand, they continued the trip. It says captain who he captained the Diamond Princess cruise passed away suddenly during a 19-day sailing near Taiwan. The respected captain experienced a medical emergency on board that proved to be fatal. So more than likely, allegedly a heart attack or something like that. And again, they announced this over, I don't know, they didn't say how many days into the 19-day cruise that this happened, but it didn't end the cruise is what I'm saying to you. Apparently it didn't end the cruise. They kept it going. Okay, so you remember last week where we were talking about the 90 seconds where it was the blackout for the air traffic controllers. They couldn't see any radars, they couldn't see any planes or anything like that, right? So the air traffic controller, there was only one air traffic controller in the whole section where this happened for 90 minutes. So, like I said before, you usually see these movies like Airplane where people were just running around hysterically and run. Imagine being that one person that's in your office. Just imagine us as officers, but they're in a tower, air traffic control, and this happens. Every screen blacks out. You don't know what to do. Well, remember I told you that she had to be taken off of work. She's now on disability. It stressed her out so much. Well, that same air traffic controller is warning that lives are at risk at your own airport after a terrifying mid-air blackout left her unable to guide 4 planes. Even she refused to fly out of our airport. She won't even fly. She's stating that, there's things that we don't know that's going on allegedly with the airline, and that we're in more danger than we think. And I believe that with all the incidents that we've had going on from since this new administration, since the beginning of the year, we've had so many instances. And you know what? I'm going to actually do a search and try to find out how many, because I keep saying how many, but until we see it, we as people, as human beings, we react differently to things when we see a number. People can say many, and then we like, many. But if they say 90, it puts more reality to it, like many, 90. So if I tell you that there's been 100, over 100 air incidents, including crashes, emergency landings, just everything. Because I have another story to you, which is happening now. And again, this air traffic controller is saying, and this is the air traffic controller, so she's not dealing with any particular airline. She controls all the planes, from American to Delta to Spirit to whatever. All of them have to go on the same radar. So this is not really going towards any particular airline, right? But she's saying that we're in much more danger than we know, and that she doesn't even fly. She doesn't even fly. Right now, she's not flying, no matter what. So I wanted to tell you that, but I also wanted to tell you this. This is my last story for the day. I wanted you to know about this. Okay, so this is a flight from Hawaii. Remember, Hawaii is part of the U.S. This flight is from Hawaii to LAX, to Los Angeles, right? So it says a United Airlines flight from Honolulu to Los Angeles was forced to turn back after a potential security concern was discovered written on a bathroom mirror. The plane returned safely to Hawaii. Okay, so what happened was they boarded the flight. Everybody did whatever. The flight took off. This is from Hawaii to LA. At some point, someone went to the bathroom and wrote on a mirror. They didn't say what they wrote on it with. They wrote in a mirror. They won't even tell us what the message is, but we don't know if they said that it was a boom boom aboard or something. We don't even know what it is. But whatever it was frightening enough for them to turn the plane around and take it back to Hawaii. So I don't know. And somebody had to put it there. You know what I mean? My thing was, when the airlines I'm sorry, I don't want to call them stewardesses or whatever. I don't want to be respectful, but the flight attendants, when the flight attendants get on a flight, I would assume that they do a check just like we all do. If there's a shift changing and we're going into some unknown or new territory, we would search that area. Meaning, when I got on the plane as a flight attendant, I'm walking through the aisles, I'm looking through the seats, I'll go to the restrooms. If it has 2 or 3 of them, I open them up, make sure nothing's going on in there, open them all up, boom, boom, boom. So I'm wondering, did they do that check? And was whatever on the mirror there then? Or did a passenger who went to the bathroom after the flight had taken off and was in the air go and write that on the mirror? I'm interested to know that. But nevertheless, I keep telling you guys, just be careful, fly, do whatever it is you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't do. I have anxieties of things, and I have to make sure that that everything is enrolled with me, or it's not going to work out. Like I said, if I attempt to fly out of the country right now, I'll be so worried. My anxieties would be so high that it might just ruin my trip, because I know I have to return and do it all over again. And that's not something that I would want to do. So I want you guys to be intentional. I want you guys to be in the know. I'm not telling you guys what to do. Do what you want, but don't say that you didn't know or you didn't hear about it. Okay? That's all I want you to do. I want you to start off your work week. You had your little Monday off, so today is Tuesday. Start off your work week with good intentions and intentionally of being nice or keep, even if you're in a bad mood, keep it to yourself. You know what I mean? Listen, I love you guys. I will see you guys as soon as tomorrow, hopefully. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself. Have a great day.